Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of
Talk, Heal, Evolve. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Ebony.
Ebony, let's take them on a journey of healing and self-discovery.
Yes.
Grab your seat.
Wrap yourself in a cozy blanket.
Don't forget that journal.
And prepare to dive into conversations that nurture the soul.
I think it's time to create intentional space for growth and evolution.
Girl, you ready?
Let's get into it.
Welcome, 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 guys,
Welcome.
to another episode of Talk, Heal, Evolve. I'm your girl, Ebony.
Stephanie.
And we are so excited to be here with you all today.
Yes.
With another amazing topic.
Yes.
So, Stephanie, tell the people what we are talking about today.
Today, we are talking about who got the power. Is it your environment or is it you?
Okay, who got the power?
Yeah. Is your environment greater than your willpower?
Is your environment greater than your willpower?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Oh, good. Let's get into it then.
Let's get into it.
So, we always talk about like differences of interpretation and understanding and stuff.
Yes.
So, can you tell me what does society or Google say about willpower?
Yeah, so when we're talking about this behind the scenes, I was like, I definitely want to look this up just to get a reference to what Google says about willpower. And so it basically said the ability to delay gratification, resisting short-term temptations in order to meet long-term goals. But then it made me think, okay, well, what's the difference between willpower and discipline? Based off of that definition.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of giving similarities.
Yeah.
And then it said, well, willpower is a rather sudden and momentary burst of focused energy.
Okay.
Which then made sense.
Yeah.
Because self-discipline is structured, well thought out, and consistent.
Got you. Okay, so I didn't even think about them being similar. So that's good.
Yeah. So it's like willpower is good, but it's momentarily. It's like, oh, I got the energy to do something. So self-discipline is what's going to take that moment into longevity.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even consider that. Okay, looking shit up. Okay. So, because I feel like willpower is the same, but I didn't think about it being for the moment, which is why I really like having the two definitions out there.
Yeah, because I think sometimes we can get like that burst of energy to do something.
Yeah.
But then when a thing becomes boring, idle, like not really fun
or
to
hard.
do anymore. Yeah, or hard. Then it's like without that energy you don't want to do it anymore. But discipline kicks in and it's like, well, I have a goal.
Yeah.
Whatever that goal is, I'm going to set myself up in a way that no matter what, whether I like to do it or don't like to do it, I'm still going to do it.
Interesting. Okay. So what are some environments that's going to test your willpower?
All the environments.
Period.
Yeah, I think it depends on what you're testing or what you're trying to get through.
Right.
Which would kind of have you determine what environments don't work. But, I mean, we can go into eating habits. Yeah. If you're trying to lose weight, you know what I mean?
So that would be more like your physical environment, so where you're around.
Correct. So if you're like trying to quote unquote diet or just eat healthier and then you're around people who your friends and they want to party and they want to drink, but you want to still be connected with them. You have to make a decision like, even though I want to be around my friends, I just don't want to put myself in these environments because it's not conducive to who I want to become.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then it's like the willpower lasts for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But then when you're like, damn, I just want to go out and have some fun, you don't want to keep putting yourself in situations where you have to test your boundaries and your limits and your willpower. You know what I mean?
That's good. I think another environment that can like really shake things up for you is like your home environment.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is your space cluttered?
Yeah.
Because that can really mess with, at least for me, your focus.
Yeah.
And my productivity. Like, I feel antsy, you know?
Yeah.
And then allows me to have a distraction.
Yes,
that procrastination be there, boy. So, like, if I'm doing something, I'm like, me clean this up first, knowing damn well I should have done that way before I started, you know?
And it is, I think also is really knowing yourself too. Because like for me, I know for a fact that I will get minimal work done from home.
Okay.
It's too comfortable.
Yes.
It's too comfortable. The TV is there. The couch is too comfortable. The office bed, like all of it is just too comfortable.
Yeah.
But getting outside or having a partner that's there, even if we're not working on the same thing, but we're there working, like it just makes me get more work done.
For sure. Even for us, I feel like in the house, it's like, okay. But
we're too comfortable. We're hungry.
Right. Let's go eat something, everything. But when we went to like the co-working space or even like a Starbucks, you put on, you know, like you're in the environment, so you form yourself to it.
Yes. And then we also, though, we push each other to get shit done.
Yes,
because things that we could do at home, we don't do. Be like, girl, I'll get to it. But then all the other things that you have to do in life come into play. So then it's like, I think that it's important to surround yourself around people who are in alignment. Y'all don't have to be going in the same direction together, but you have to be in the same direction of trying to do something different.
Absolutely.
Which is like one pushes the other. You know what I mean? Or even just having somebody in the space that's doing something, it makes you also want to do something. If
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
And even like people looking, you don't want them to see you slacking. We're all here for a purpose.
Right. Accountability.
Yes.
I think that it's refreshing and is needed for us to have accountability, because when you're accountable for yourself sometimes, that willpower and that discipline, it can go out the window because you're like, well, I'll get to it tomorrow or I'll do it next week. And then the day comes and it's like, well, I'll do it. You know what I mean? But when you know someone else is going to hold you accountable for what you said, it's kind of like, well, damn, I don't want to
hear their mouth.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right. So it's really helpful to have accountability, people that's going to hold you accountable.
For sure. Yeah. So another one, let's talk about social media. How does that environment kind of jack you up?
Well, in what way?
In all the ways. So my first thought when we were thinking about like different types of environments, I was trying to figure out what my willpower needed to be, right? And it's to get administrative things done. Yeah. So all of my examples were going to be like administrative related, right? Because that's where I could focus. So for me, it's hard for social media, even if I'm focusing, for notifications. Oh. I have to turn them shits off.
You do.
Because the ding is like, let me see what they said, and then you get caught up.
Open that phone and it's over. You look up and then an hour later, it'd be like, Lord.
For sure.
And it's interesting because I literally just put like a time limit on my social media. So now when I'm on social media, after every 30 minutes.
This is for y'all toolbox.
After every 30 minutes. And this is something that I've did within within Instagram. It actually gives you like different time increments where you can say, okay, after this amount of time, notify me to stop.
Wow.
So it does that now. And now I'm like, oh, damn, Instagram is holding me accountable to get off this phone after 30 minutes.
Imagine.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. What is another way social media? What were you thinking about when I first said, how does social media affect your willpower?
Well, when it comes to like nutrition and you're like, I'm like, okay, so I'm vegan. And I'm like, I'm trying to take everybody off my page that's not vegan. Yeah. Because I'm tired of seeing the pork. I'm tired of seeing the beef.
Because it look good.
No, it looks nasty. But our culture is so like food focused. Yeah. That even going on there and just seeing how people stuff their mouths or it's too much.
It is.
So I have to limit that type of content that I consume. Yeah. And for me, and hopefully nobody takes it personal because I know I've unfollowed a lot of pages recently, but I just have to be very aware of what I consume through social media.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then the last environment that I had was cultural. Okay. How does culture affect your willpower and the goals that you set for yourself?
Wow. I think social media and culture, I feel like go hand in hand, really, because social media is starting to shape our culture Like a lot of the culture that we have these days, people get it from social media.
Okay. I can see it.
It used to be like television and movies and cinema and stuff like that. But now I feel like a lot of the content that we consume these days, it becomes our culture. Like it comes like it starts to become everything that you see in reality.
And it creeps up on you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was having a hard time trying to think of willpower in my own instance. But then I stepped kind of outside of myself, and I was thinking like, when I was in school, again, I ran into many different people. And I remember that a lot of the girls who were from like the Middle East and stuff, they wanted to further like their education and, be somebody instead of just a wife.
Yeah.
But on from their parents, it's like, you're just going to finish high school and then you get married,
Yeah.
So having set goals and trying to do the things that you want to do without having your, the traditions or the culture kind of affect or try to steer your life,
Yeah. I mean, to even go beyond that, not even just culture, but family values. Like, how many people literally live and base their lives off of what their parents are going to think?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or what their peers are going to think. You know what I mean? And then you just create this life, which could be nice and it could be good, but you feel like one day you look up and you just be like, this is just not who I am. You know what I'm saying? Living for other people and not for myself.
Yeah.
Pleasing other people and not for myself. Or pleasing myself. So, yeah.
So so now that we know what they are and how they can affect us just by the way, I guess, how do these types of environments affect our decision-making process to even make these goals, period?
So I think that your environment, especially when you don't have a really good discipline, will shape your life.
For sure.
I mean, it's researched.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so if you don't create a structure for yourself and have discipline, your environment will literally build who you are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it will mold you into who to become.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's so funny that you say that, because I remember just growing up and like where the school that you went to or who your friends were, your parents would just be like, I want you to go here or not do this thing because I don't want you to be around certain people. And you're like, well, they're a kid just like me, but maybe not their home environment that you'll be exposed to, or, just the things that they're doing. And you can be, even though you have morals and values and all the things embedded in you, like the peer pressure.
Peer pressure is a real thing.
Yeah.
It is a real thing.
Yeah.
It is a real thing. And then I think that individually we can say that we're brought up a certain way, but I think on a community level, your environment raises your child these days.
Yes.
The school system raises your child more than the parents are raising them, just because of how society is. And you got to go out there and make money and, do all the things that society deems important. You know what I mean? So then you lack the real structure and parenting of like raising your children in a healthy manner.
That sucks.
It does, but that is real life, especially for a lot of single parents.
Ooh, yeah.
Who really just aren't afforded the time to be at home to raise their kids the way they wish or wanted to raise them,
Yeah.
So then when kids don't have those figures, they go to gangs and they go to the streets and then they go to unhealthy relationships to fill voids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So our environment can raise us, especially it gets us young.
It does. And it's so crazy because sometimes people would say, like, mostly back in the day, I guess this phrase was, but they don't have no home training. Meanwhile, your home environment might be one way, but you're in, like you say, school for 10 hours, or you're in around those friends. So that's who's raising you.
Right.
So those may look very different.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. I was trolling the other day.
Okay.
And I was watching some reality show clip, and it was I know.
Lord Jesus.
It's my guilty pleasure. And the girl was asking her mother, who looks very young. I can't remember that girl name. Anyway, she was asking her mother if she could watch her daughter because she was going out with her boyfriend or something.
Okay.
And the mom was like, no, like, I got stuff to do. And she was like, these new age grandmothers don't want to. She was like, do I look like a grandmother?
Right.
Because she looks good. Anyway, she was like, well, you don't have to do much. Just make sure she has something to eat and she has her iPad. You don't even have to. And I was just like, well, dang, that is the culture that we're in. That these are the babysitters. These are the growers. Like, you know, this is where they're getting their education from. Just these iPads.
Woo.
And we don't even know what's on them.
At all. At all.
It's just mind-blowing.
Anything can get to your child through social media.
Yes.
Through the internet. Even when you have the parental guides up there, you have pop-ups.
Yes.
You have commercials.
Yes.
And even some of the childlike content these days, it's very questionable.
It is super questionable. Oh my gosh. I have so many examples. I can't even think. So Erin is like, I monitor her stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently not good enough though. So I monitor her stuff.
Yeah.
And so she used to have a nanny, and she still watches her like content and stuff. And Erin loves to do a TikTok dance.
Yes, she
and
does.
They seem
she
so
sends them to me.
Yes, they seem so innocent.
Yeah.
And so she texts me. She's like, "Hey, I don't know if Erin knows or understands the meaning behind the song, but it's not just a dance." And I'm like, "Okay." I go on, and the song is like top or something. And I'm just like, oh my God. So even though the kids don't understand,
yes,
they're still digesting that thing.
Yeah.
And you hear the words over and over because you have to learn the dance.
Yes. And it goes into your unconscious. So even if you don't think you're conscious, you're subconscious. So even when you don't think you're conscious about it, your subconscious is taking all of that information in. So whether you realize it or not, you're being fed that information, and it's crazy.
It is super crazy. And then they'll just start singing things, like, while they're doing other things. And that's how you realize it gets so deep.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know.
Yeah.
So, So my next question, I have to free my hands because when I was writing down the question, I was like, oh, this sounds so good. How does my Austin Powers. So how does your environment foil your plans?
First of all, foil is cool.
I know, right? How does your environment mess up your plans? So let's say that you have developed a plan. And you can use personal examples if you have any. You have a developed plan and you're on it. Like you're doing the things, right? And then you go into an environment and it messes up the plans. Ooh, how do you get back?
That one?
So tell me the full circle.
That one is actually a good one that I can relate to, because I would say, like, in the beginning of this year, I had created a whole plan for this year, like all the things that I'm going to do. And even when we say, like, I want certain people in my life and I want these type of relationships, you have to understand that those people come with their own baggage, and not even baggage in a bad way.
Yeah.
But people, places, and things can be distractions without you even knowing it.
Yes.
So, say for instance, like, when you go into a relationship, you have to give a lot of energy to that.
Yes.
You have to give a lot of focus. And even if it's not a full-on relationship, whether it's just like you're dating and getting to know somebody, it takes a lot of time to do so. If you are not very disciplined in, like, your day-to-day activities, you can easily just stop doing all the things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know, like, after my trip to Jamaica, I stopped going to the gym, and not because for, like, any real reason, not because somebody made me or anything.
Yeah.
It was just I had got comfortable doing all the other things that I was doing.
Yeah.
That I forgot that I said that I was committed to myself to make this a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Not just, oh, I'm going to go for the year or I'm going to go for a few months, but I wanted this to be a consistent lifestyle change that no matter what, I made it to the gym 3 times a day. 3 times a week, not a day.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Let me correct that.
That's not what we talked about.
At minimum, 3 times a week. And so I think for me, it was good to have people that one was in my corner to hold me accountable, but not hold me accountable like what are you doing, but just having a conversation like, sorry, have you been to the gym, or like what are you doing and stuff. And then even one of the gym owners that the gym I was going to, the strength training gym, he reached out and was like, so what's going on? I haven't seen you in here. Like, what's going on? And a lot of people don't do that. For like some people in businesses, you can just be a number, you could just be a check, and you can stop going and nobody really checks in on you, right? Yeah. But for this particular gym, being that it was so small and quaint, and just being because he's very hospitable. Yeah. Because it was another gym that I went to. Once I canceled, I didn't hear back. But for him, he was just like, what do we have to do to get you back in here? You know what I mean? Because you made a commitment to yourself. So how can I help you keep that commitment to yourself?
That's really nice.
Very nice. And so we had a conversation about it, and he was like, okay, all right, well, you're going to be back on Monday. Yeah. Let me know what you can do, and we'll get you in here to get it done. Yeah. And so I started going back. And then I was like, oh, my God, I miss the feeling of actually being in the gym, even though I dread the workouts. After the fact, as soon as it's done, I'm like, ugh, I feel so accomplished. Yeah. Because I did the hard shit. You know what I mean? Like, because, baby, they be having us in there. Doing some crazy shit. And even like just training and getting my muscles together and learning the equipment and, you know, the weights and stuff like that. It's hard as hell, but consistency and discipline has to outweigh everything. Yeah. And so, and I feel like until you build it, you have to keep your distractions as minimal as possible. Right. But then also just make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people. And this one's going to sting for a lot of people, but you have to keep people around you that's doing better than you. Or that has a better discipline, better commitments to themselves, better consistency. Because if you don't have it, or if you're trying to learn it, and then you surround yourself with people who are just comfortable in their space and they're not doing anything to do more for themselves because they're just so comfortable at where they're at, whether we know it or not, when we're around them long enough, somebody's energy is going to affect the other person. Yes. So it's either my energy is going to be so big that I get you out of your comfort zone, or your energy of being so comfortable in where you are is going to affect how I feel, and it's going to make me feel more comfortable just doing little.
Don't be foreshadowing my questions. Don't do that. No, that's really good, and it's so true. Oh, I can't wait to hear your response to my last question. This is good. I will have to say that it's so difficult for me to stick to plans. Okay. Like so hard. So in terms of like eating healthier and things like that, like the goal was to eat healthier and to drink more water for my skin. Yeah. Because, you know, I get bad eczema flare-ups. And it's like every Monday I'm like, yep, I'm going to start. Yes. I'm going to start over every Monday. But my environment is not conducive to my plans.
Oh, my gosh. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to let you roll with that one. I don't know if it's your environment necessarily.
Is not conducive to my plans. Because when I tell you that every time Abdul goes to the grocery store, not even every time he goes to the grocery store, every time I open that bottom drawer of my house, the snack drawer is snacking.
And that's why I'm like, we can't keep meeting at your house. Because my ass was in that bottom drawer.
Yeah, I'm telling you, literally and metaphorically, right?
I'm like, I can't keep coming over here talking about some, I'm doing this, I'm fasting, I'm doing that. Right. And I got a bowl of damn popcorn in my.
Yes. And so it's like, it's the snack drawer, it's like the children, you know, just trying to be in and out quick. But the water, I have no excuse for. You know what I mean? And so just, it's so important, like you said, to have an accountability partner, even for the things that seem little.
Even because the little things are the ones that matter.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And they add up.
Because they add up to the big picture. Agreed. Agreed.
So in terms of pressures and environment, parental constraints and influences on finances. Because I think that that's a big one for people, right? And back in the day is what, keeping up with the Joneses and all kinds of stuff. So can we speak a little bit to how your social media, your friends, whatever, can affect your finances? Because I think that that's big for a lot of people.
Can affect your finances when you're trying to be disciplined in your spending and stuff like that. Okay. I can totally relate to this with Stephanie because...
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That wasn't the plan. That wasn't where we were going with this.
You said relate, give an experience. Okay, so my experience is... Stephanie is a spender. You are a spender, right? And I am not. So even when we get stuff for the podcast, I'm like, I don't want to buy anything that we are not going to use because we've bought a lot of stuff that just gets thrown to the side. And I'll be like, why do you keep going to get all these things?
Yeah.
But then I have to understand, like, okay, Stephanie's going to get all the stuff because she's just like, we're going to go, like, you're like, we're going to go hard or we're not going to go at all. Me, I'm like, let's build up to the good stuff because, baby, I have spent hundreds of dollars of stuff that we do not utilize. And I'll be like,
we're going to make a list and we're going to use them, guys.
But it's not me counting penny for penny, right? But it's just like, I see money differently than you do. Yeah. Which that can happen in your friend groups. Like, I'll spend money on certain things that I'll never have a problem with, like food.
Right. Period.
Because I'm going to eat it and I'm going to enjoy it, and I'd rather pay for something good than something that's just not worth my time, right? Yeah. But I'm not an Amazon buyer. Yeah. Like, I don't have an Amazon account. I don't shop on, like, I literally can count on two hands how many times I have shopped on Amazon. For me, because I feel like it's overpriced, and you do just pay for convenience to me on the things that I see people buy a lot. And then it's like you buy it, and 2 months later, you don't even know where it's at. You don't even use it anymore. But in the moment, they're like, but I need this. Yeah. I'm like, boy, Amazon got y'all in a chokehold. Yes. The world in a chokehold. But so for me, it's like, I want to spend money on things that's going to be very useful and that I'm going to use. Yeah. I feel like with money, I don't care how much I have. I'm just not a frivolous spender like that. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that the things that I spend it on, I'm going to utilize. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's an instant.
Interesting. And I love this because we are going to talk about or get into a financial series, you know? Yes. And your environment really affects how you spend and how much you spend. Yes. And I am a spender. Like, I like to spend money, like, even on dumb things. And I think one of the bad, or not bad, but things that I'm working on is my Amazon, actually. Okay. Because on social media, you'll see all of these things, Amazon finds and hacks and things like that. Yeah. And at the time, not even at the time, because I still find a lot of them useful, but it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know I needed that. You know what I'm saying? And so once you streamline and limit like what you consume and what you have access to, I think it'll do the same for your pocket.
Yeah. I'll also say, like, that's on the con end of financials with friends and stuff like that. I'll say, like, on a pro end though, when you do spend, ironically, when we go and spend something and I'm with her on the podcast, you always get a fucking notification for incoming money.
Yes. Yes.
So I love that. Yeah. I love that. I probably am not a frivolous spender because, one, I didn't come from money. I didn't. So for me, I already view it one way. Yeah. But when you have people most of my friends are like this, where it's like, I'm the brokest one in the group, and I have to stop saying brokest, but they open up my mind on the limitations that I unknowingly have on myself. Yeah. And so I see, even though you spend a lot, I also see how you have a creativity to do a thing and make income off of it. Like, even though you may not do it for a long time, you'll create a product, make some money. So it's, even though you're spending, you're still creating a way to make off of your creativity.
And it's so funny that you say that, because environment really does play a role in how you view things too, right? And it shapes perception. And so I didn't come from money either, but I think my parents really...
You didn't come from money?
No. Swear to you. I know it seems that way.
Private school.
That means nothing. That means nothing.
To us kids in public school?
No, it literally means nothing. And I think that is perception. It's so crazy, because ever since I was young, people always were like, oh, your family's rich. And really, no.
Yeah.
And I think that it's just how you view money. Like, I view money like it's always going to be there.
Yeah,
you regardless. Like, it's always going to come. So even when I used to be dumb negative, I was still going to the spa. I was still doing all the things. Hell yeah, because it's going to come. Gosh. Money is made to be spent, and, like, they've always shown me that. Okay. And, like, as much as we spend, you still look for ways to invest. And I think that is where my relationship has grown towards money. So now I still spend, but now I know how to double it up, or, make it come in. And so even that sort of environment can change, like, how you see certain things.
Yeah.
So my next question. Oh, are you done?
No, go ahead.
Because I got more questions. My next question for you is, do you think, and you already touched on it, which is great, that you can be the environment that overpowers somebody's willpower?
I do. Right?
Mm-hmm. Give us examples.
Interesting. I do, but unknowingly, right? Mm-hmm. I think that in a lot of conversations, sometimes I don't realize that my way of being impacts other people to where they're like, they have what would Ebony do moments, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, I never really know the impact of it until I hear about it.
Yeah.
So it's actually really good to hear, because a lot of my peers are older than me. Mm-hmm. So if I'm always feeling like, oh, like I'm the youngest one in the room, or I'm the one with, like, the least experience in certain things.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see that even in me being that, of all the things, the limits that I just said out loud to myself, right?
Yeah.
People still see the value in what I offer.
Period. Like, yes. That is the goal.
So, yeah. I think also, though, it's crazy how I don't understand it until I hear it.
Yeah.
Which, even in saying it out loud, it's like I still don't always see the power in who I am. So, that's interesting. I
just want to do a quick sidebar, because... seriously, like, when you love yourself, love on yourself, and be authentic to yourself, there is value in that. Like, no, regardless.
Yeah. No, and I hear that all the time. Yeah, I hear that all the time. But it's also, it is a working progress.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It is a, like, endless amount of loving on yourself that you have to do consistently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I'm always wanting to do more, and just making sure that I stay on top of it, because it is a new foundation for me.
Yeah.
In which that I've never had this foundation of loving on myself before. Right? Authentic, I have probably been in the midst of being that my entire life. Mm-hmm. But I think now I'm to the point where it's like, this is me. I don't give a...
Yes.
I don't even like being around people who are inauthentic. And I think because of that, because of my vulnerability and my way of being, it gets me into a lot of doors that normally people would not be able to enter.
Yeah.
So I'm appreciative of that, because I feel like when you are who you are, regardless of your flaws and stuff like that, people can relate, and it just makes them want to be around you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that. And I think it's so important for people to self-assess.
Yeah.
And realize if you are the environment that's overpowering somebody's willpower, like, did somebody around you say they want to do something and now you're inhibiting them?
Yeah.
Or, you're consciously or subconsciously, you know what I mean? Deterring them from their goal. Or are you encouraging them? Are you helping by holding them accountable or asking them those things?
Yeah.
So you can be the environment that we're talking about.
You can, but you can't get caught up in wanting to be the environment for people because other people can dumb you down. You cannot be in a group of quote unquote broke people with broke mindsets and be the smartest one in the room and think that you are going to be the person that overrides everybody else and bring everybody else up. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
If you're surrounded by people with small mindsets, small way of thinking, you will become the fifth person in the group that starts to think small. Because your ideas, they wouldn't be able to relate to. You know what I mean? And their fears, they will put on you. So for me, I'm happy and blessed that I get to be around people who I consider to be I don't want to say above me, because I feel like we're all the same, but they have qualities and characteristics that I don't yet have. You know what I mean? Or they have reached milestones in their lives that I have yet to meet. So I can go to them and say, like, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing, and I'll get feedback that will bring me up. I think that is important, even like, because sometimes we can get in our own way and we don't want to sit at those tables all the time. And we don't want to go around those people all the time, because then we also have to hold ourselves accountable to why we aren't where we say we want to be at. You know what I mean? So then you stop putting yourselves in those rooms, and then you start to go around people who are just so comfortable being mediocre.
Yep.
And then you look up and you're like, nah, I can't be mediocre.
For
you know
sure.
What I mean?
But I do, again, want to note that that's not what we're saying to do. Right? But we do want you to, like, if your friends have a specific goal, don't be the environment that they come around to change those or dumb down those goals or make them deter from those. Like, again, hold them accountable. Ask them the questions. Are you coming back to the gym? Are you going to the gym?
Right.
That's what you had told me. Don't be, the person that they come to and like, oh, we're not going? Cool. Like,
Right. Or
don't
it's
be that.
Okay.
Right.
Like, you'll do it next time. And you know what's interesting? I was having a conversation with somebody, and we were talking about how people define friendships, right? And they were talking about, like, well, I'm not the type of friend that I'm going to push you to do anything. I'm just going to let you be who you are. And, that was my reaction. I was like, no, but I don't want those type of friends.
Right.
Like, I'm the pusher, and I need to be pushed. I need to be held accountable. I need to know that when I'm not being who I say I want to be, that you're going to stop me and be like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want you to be around just to be around. Like, where's the evolution in that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. We all have to grow. You know what I mean? And if you are not into growing, then you need to be cut off. Because at the end of the day, I can't be the only one pushing somebody.
Exactly.
It's like a back and forth kind of thing.
And it people can feed off of that, and it can drain you.
Oh, yeah.
When you are the only one pushing, it's like...
Yep. That's why they keep you around,
Exactly.
Because they're lazy or too lazy to do the work.
Exactly. And when we say push, I don't necessarily mean, like... What I do mean is, when we say push, somebody can push me and just by being who they are. It doesn't mean that they're getting on me or telling me something. It's just the fact that they're going after everything they want.
Yes.
And they have crazy discipline. If they say they're going to eat a certain way, they eat. And say if they say they're going to go to the gym, they're going to go to the gym. It's that type of push where you just see a friend doing all the things that they say they want to do for themselves. It makes you want to do it for yourself. So that's what I mean when I say push. It doesn't necessarily mean someone is always checking you or anything like that, because no. But you want to be around people who, quote unquote, inspire you. You know what I mean? Just by being who they are.
Yeah.
They inspire you to be better. A better person, a better whatever. You know?
And I think that if you know, and we be knowing,
yeah,
if you know that you are the environment that is deterring someone or bringing them down, then I think that you should excuse yourself.
Yeah, most
if
people
you recognize
won't,
that. Yeah, it's crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? if you are the friend that your friend has crazy discipline and you just, let's not today, let's not, like, I don't know about that.
Agreed.
So we've talked a lot about the environment types, how they can affect your willpower, your goals, things like that. How do we overcome those instances where our environment starts to overpower our willpower or our goals? What's one step? Let's fill these toolboxes.
Okay, so I'm going to reference a book that I literally just finished reading called Atomic Habits.
Ooh.
It's a good book.
Yeah.
And it talks about your environment and your discipline, and it also talks about building habits one step at a time. Like, because sometimes we just want to jump into it.
Yes.
And that's the willpower. It's that burst of energy that you have where you're like, fuck it, I'm going to do it, right? But then we do all the things really quickly, and then when we get burnt out, we're like, I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so in the book, it talks about like taking 2 hours out of your day to do that one thing.
Right.
And to set a timer. Don't go over 2 hours, or even if it's 45 minutes or whatever the time limit is, do it for that amount of time, and then that's it.
Yeah.
So say, for instance, you want to start going to the gym and losing weight. Well, just say, I'm going to go to the gym every day for 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. But I'm only going to give it 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to go to the gym, do 10 minutes, and then leave. Over time, if you're just showing up to do it for that little amount of time, you'll be like, well, I'm already here. So let me do 20. Let me do 30. You know what I mean? So I think that the book really explained that taking little steps on your journey is how you create the discipline and consistency for the big picture versus trying to jump in and do all the things all at once and then giving up on yourself when things don't give you instant gratification.
Absolutely. I love that. And the small steps are like habit creators.
Correct.
As opposed to being overwhelmed by trying to do all the things.
Correct. And so that's what he wanted to build. The very small habits, the really small things that we keep overlooking. And you just keep building another small habit on top of another small habit.
That's really good.
Which becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's applicable to everything.
Yes.
You know what I
very
mean?
Much
Start
so.
with 1 cup of water a day.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
That's good. I think one of my favorite things when I have a goal in mind is to create the physical environment for that thing.
Okay.
So whether it was, you know, when I started going to the gym a long time ago, I got a new outfit and I got new sneakers. And
because she loves this.
First of all, no, that's not why.
Okay, but I get it.
It was because I wanted to put on those sneakers. Like, it was a new thing, and that's what gave me, like, oh, these are cute. It gave you that.
Yeah.
So anything that you can do to create, if you need to tidy your space, if you need to get you a new journal and a new pen, if you need whatever you need to do, create a small office or reading nook, whatever that is, create that physical space that makes you want to go and do or be in that thing.
That is really good. Okay, I have a question from that. So when people are trying to restructure and recreate their environments to align with who they are, how do you ask for help when you're a person that doesn't like to ask for help?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you know yourself and you're like, I know I need to put myself in this type of environment or be around these type of people more. Because I think a lot of times we don't ask because we don't want to be a burden to people.
Yes.
And we don't want, it's like we don't want to talk to people about the things we're going on because we don't want people to think that we're a burden or we're putting too much on people. But at the same time, you have to have community and you have to have people that you can lean on that's not going to look at your story as a burden.
Yeah.
So how would you tell someone to go about like asking for the help that's needed? And this doesn't mean financially, but it could just mean like, I need a friend to go out with me so I can get some work done.
Yeah.
How do you ask somebody that?
I think the first step is to list down the things that you need to do for that thing.
Okay.
Right? All of them. And then you can check the things or however you note the things that you can do and the things that you can't.
Okay.
Because I feel like a lot of times people feel like they'll be a burden because they may not express the thing well or they don't have a clear delineated list of what they need help with.
Yeah.
So when you start asking, you ramble all over the place, and then the person is like, well, what do you really need? And then you feel overwhelmed. So I think having a roadmap of what you need done, what you can do and what you can't is a starter.
Yeah.
And then just go for it. A lot of times people want to help. You know what I mean? And they're just waiting to see what you need help with.
Right.
So don't be scared. Like, that happens a lot with somebody that I'm really close to. They want to do all the things for themselves. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to, because when I need help, man, that group message be lit the fuck up. Do you hear me? I'm asking all the questions. And so I just want other people to know that you can ask for help as well. Yeah. Because we're here. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think another way to kind of offset the strength of an environment, again, you said building community is definitely one.
For sure.
Physical space, and then making those small habits, but also limiting or streamlining what you're consuming. So what you're reading, what you're seeing on TV, what's in your social media feed, make sure that they're aligned with the goal that you have.
Very much so. I think that is probably one of the most important things that you can do, because the content you consume will be who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The content that we consume on a daily basis, whether it's social media, whether it's television. And what's interesting about that is I've gotten rid of a lot of streaming platforms because I'm on like this health and nutrition, but also like a spiritual type of vibe where a lot of things are just starting to look completely different now. Mm-hmm. So even when I'm strolling to look for a movie, to me, it's so programmed to our detriment.
Yes.
It's like guns and violence and sex, and this is what black cinema looks like. Mm-hmm. The other day I was like, it is so hard to find a movie that's not programming me, that doesn't have like traumatic plots in them, that I can just watch and feel good at the end of the day. There are not too many black movies that do that.
No.
And I was just like, this is crazy. Yeah. The type of
not
content.
Too many on mainstream platforms.
Correct.
Like, you have to dig so
you
hard.
You have to dig really, really deep.
And who has time or wants to do that, you know? So it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something that's really important. And then making sure that you get to choose what you see on social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm deleting a lot of stuff.
That hide button, boy. I be hiding everything nowadays.
Hide, delete, and mute. Yep. Because I just don't want to see it. And it's nothing personal. It's just the fact that I have to consume the things that are going to be a benefit to me and not a distraction.
Yeah. Okay, so we have some good tools. So now I want to go back to our template making. Okay. And give the people some powerful things that they can actually, that's tangible.
Okay.
You know? So I came up with the 3 A's or A cubes. I don't know.
A cubed is getting cut.
A cubed.
All right. So the 3 A's.
The 3 A's.
Okay.
So it's going to be assessment, action, and accountability.
Yes.
Right? So we really want you to assess your environment.
Yes.
Create an action plan, and then find some sort of accountability partner or device.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so we'll build that out.
Yes, I'll be creating a workbook. Well, we'll be creating a workbook around that, and we'll have it live on Patreon and then our website, which is up and live, guys.
I know, so excited.
So excited about that. It looks so good. So please go to the website, check out the content and the pictures and the streams that we have up there, and let us know what you think about that.
For sure.
Yeah, but then we also have our other workbook that's up for people to get for free. All you have to do is sign up with your email, and then you get the digital download straight sent to your email box.
Yes.
Yeah.
So lots of good content coming, but we really want you to assess your environment so that you can, you know, start meeting those goals that you're setting.
Yeah, for you to flourish. I mean, we are already at the halfway mark for the year.
Yes.
This year's been going by so quick.
Yeah.
One of the quickest years, honestly. It's going by so fast. I'm like, ooh. But it's a good thing.
Yes.
But at this moment, are you aligned with where you said you wanted to be at the beginning of the year? We set all these goals and we have all these dreams at the beginning of the year, but then somehow months and months later we stop. You know what I'm saying? We stop ourselves from doing all the things that we said we were going to do and that we set out to do. So right now is a good place to be where you can kind of assess the situation and see where you are, and then start making the changes so that the next half of this year can be dynamic.
Yeah, and we can start measuring those outcomes. Correct. Right? Because we're going to meet those goals.
Oh, we're definitely going to meet them.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I love that. All right, guys. So thank you all for being here for another episode of Talk Heal Evolve. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. And until next time, guys.
See you then.
Bye.